Good day. So before I start, I just want to say thank you, Ma'am Elanie, for sharing us your knowledge. So ngayon ako naman yung magbabahagi ng aking mga natutunan sa subject na CLJ. Sa subject na CLJ, under nito yung CJSR, Criminal Justice System. Ang Criminal Justice System is a machinery used in the society to prevent crimes or control it. Ibig sabihin nito, ginagamit yung criminal justice system para malesen yung crime at saka mapababa yung crime rate ng ating bansa. Sa CJS din, meron siyang 5 components or 5 pillars. At tatalakayin ko yun ngayon. At sisimulan natin sa unang pillar. The first pillar is the law enforcement agency. So, bago ko simulan yung first pillar, gusto ko lang sabihin na, alam nyo ba na ang salitang police ay originated from the Greek word politeia, na ang ibig sabihin ay government of a city. At pinalta naman ng mga Roman into policia, at kinalaunan ay pinaltan din naman ito ng mga French na police. At yun, hanggang sa ngayon, police na ang ginagamit ng mga law enforcement agency. So ngayon, mag-start na ako. Ang first pillar ay, sa pagkakatanda ko sa discussion ni Ma'am, ay tinalakay dito yung different policing system, early development policing system, kagaya ng mga keepers of the peace ng England. Ang keepers of the peace is, they were responsible to the king for ensuring that the law was upheld and preserved the king's peace, and were known as keepers of the peace. And kasama din dito yung Bow Street Runners. Ito naman yung kay Henry and John Fielding. While serving as magistrate in England, create the Bow Street Runners. This group of a privately paid persons was the first organized attempt at follow-up investigation of crimes. Kasama din dito yung frank pledge system sa Middle Ages. Under this system, a community was divided into groups of 10 men. Each member was other members of his group. Under din ng CJS ang police patrol. Police patrol is a proactive measure in policing. The presence of uniformed police officers in an area deters an individual who plans to commit any violation of law. Ibig sabihin po nito na ang police patrol ay sila yung nagde-detect ng mga crimes na malapit sa pinag-assignan nilang area. At kasamahan din nito ang crime prevention. It is a method of anticipation, recognition, and appraisal of a crime risk, and the initiation of action to preclude or impede its occurrence. On its broadest application, it seems tolerable to assert that crime includes the elimination of the opportunity to commit a crime. Crime prevention is deemed as a goal of policing. Crime prevention is also known as the first line of defense. Most crime prevention efforts of the police department rest largely on its patrol units. Under din ng CJS or Criminal Justice System ang Operational Support Units, kagaya ng Maritime Group. Sila yung mga nangangalaga sa karagatan na teritoryo ng Pilipinas. Nandito rin ang Intelligence Group. Sila yung namamahala sa intelligence ng PNP. At meron din namang nandito rin ang Security and Protection Office. Sila yung nagpo-provide ng security sa government officials na visiting dignitaries and private individuals authorized to be given protection. Kasama rin dito ang Criminal Investigation and Detection Group. Undertakes the monitoring, investigation, and prosecution of all crimes involving economic sabotage and other crimes of such magnitude and extent as to indicate their commission by highly placed or professional criminal syndicates and organizations. So yun, tapos na tayo sa first pillar. Dadako naman tayo sa second pillar of CJS. Ang second pillar of CJS ay tinatawag na prosecution. It is the wish of every enlightened government to do justice to its citizenry and strives to maintain a balance between social orderliness and human liberty. The burden in maintaining balance is upon the prosecution pillar and the shoulders of our prosecutors. O sa madaling sabi, ang prosecution ay process or method whereby accusation are brought before the court of justice to determine the guilt or innocent and accused. Sa prosecution, meron din silang tinatawag na prosecution system. Ang una ay adversarial, a system of prosecution otherwise known as accusatorial, which is being adopted by most countries who have common laws whereby the victim has the primary responsibility providing the presenting evidence to the court. Judge listens to the accusation and give the right punishment to the accused. The second is inquisitorial. Used in some continental countries, the judge search the fact and prove the guilt or innocence of the accused. And the last one is the mixed system. It adopts both inquisitorial and accusatorial. At mayroon din tinatawag dito na prosecutor. Ang prosecutor ay nagbe-verify whether or not the criminal should be placed under the criminal justice process. He determine whether the evidence gathered by the police under the standards or life, liberty, and reputation. Also, prosecutor is made up of state prosecutor, chief prosecutor, regional prosecutor, and inquest prosecutor. Prosecutor is also the person who is quasi-judicial officer who assume full discretion or control over criminal case in the administration of justice. He represents the government of the people of the Philippines in criminal proceeding in court of law, determine which case should be filed in court and what case shall be dropped, determines what criminal case to be changed in an offender. If evidence gathered meet the standards for successful prosecution and conviction. Tapos na rin tayo sa second pillar, magtungo na tayo sa third pillar. The third pillar is court. Ano nga ba ang court? The court is a body which public administration of justice is delegated, being a tribunal officially assembled under authority of law. Sa court, meron tinatawag na judge. Ang judge is a public officer so named in his commission and appointed to preside over and to administer the law in a court of justice. Meron din dito tinatawag na mga regular courts. Una na yung Supreme Courts, Court of Appeals, Regional Trial Court, and Metropolitan Court. So, una ko i-discuss yung Supreme Court. A Supreme Court is the highest court within the hierarchy of courts in the many legal jurisdiction. Other descriptions for such courts include Court of Last Resort, Apex Court, and High Court of Appeal. Broadly speaking, the decision of a Supreme Court are not subject to further review by another court. The second is the Court of Appeals, vested with the power of review all the final judgments, decision, resolution, order, or awards of regional trial courts and quasi-judicial agencies, instrumentalities, board of commissions, except those failing within the appellate jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. The third is Regional Trial Court, the court of the first instance, exercise appellate jurisdiction over all cases decided by Metropolitan Trial Courts, Municipal Trial Courts, Municipal Trial Court in cities, and Municipal Circuit Trial Courts in their respective territorial jurisdiction. All criminal cases whose impossible penalty is more than 6 years. The last one is Metropolitan Trial Court. All offenses with the imprisonment not more than 6 years is specific to the areas inside NCR. Meron din palang tinatawag dito na special courts. Court of Tax Appeal. Jurisdiction to review by appeal decisions or inaction of the Commissioner of Internal Revenue of the Commissioner of Customs involving their respective responsibilities under the National Internal Revenue Code and the Custom Law. A tax court that is impartial, competent, and transparent, ensuring faithful compliance with tax and related laws. The second one is Sandigan Bayan. Tries and decides criminal and civil cases against government officials and employees accused of graft and corruption and similar the offenses. And and meron din tinatawag dito na quasi-judicial agency. A quasi-judicial agency or body is an organ of government other than a court and other than a legislature which affects the right of private parties through either adjudication or rule making. A proceeding conducted by an administrative or executive official that is similar to a court proceeding hearing a court review a decision arising from a quasi-judicial proceeding. Next is, what is jurisdiction? Jurisdiction, the authority of the court to hear and try a particular offense and or impose the punishment provided by the law. Meron din tinatawag dito na venue. Ang venue is referred to the place, location or site where the case is to be heard on its merits. At paano nga ba, at meron din dito kung sinasabi kong paano na-acquire ang jurisdiction over a case. Jurisdiction over the subject matter. Jurisdiction over the offense. Jurisdiction over the person of the accused. Jurisdiction over territory. Mas niyo? Madami pa ba to? Meron din tinatawag dito na arrangement and fee. Rule 116 section.
Meron po. Bili nga ako na.
Meron din ditong tinatawag na arrangement and fee. Rule 116 section 1. The accused must be arranged before the court where the complaint or information was filed or assigned for trial. The arrangement shall be made in open court by the judge or clerk by furnishing the accused with a copy of a complaint or information, reading the same in the language or dialect known to him and asking him whether he pleads guilty or not guilty. Meron din dito tinatawag na pre-trial. The pre-trial shall commence within 30 days after arrangement. At meron din ditong trial or order of trial. The prosecution shall present evidence to prove the charge and in the proper case and the civil liability. The accused represents evidence to prove his defense. At meron din dito tinatawag na judgment. Adjudication of the court that the accused is guilty or not guilty for the offense charged, the imposition on him of the proper penalty and civil liability if any. The fourth pillar. The fourth pillar. The fourth pillar is the correction. It is a generic term, includes all government agency, facilities, programs, procedure, personnel and techniques concerned with the investigation and take custody, confinement, supervision or treatment of the offenders. Punishment is under the correction. Punishment is the redress that the state takes against an offending member of society that usually involve pain and suffering. It is also the penalty imposed on an offender for a crime or wrongdoing. Under punishment, they include the ancient forms of punishment. The first one is death penalty. Death penalty is affected by burning, beheading, hanging, breaking at the wheels, pillory, and other forms of medieval execution. Second is physical torture. Affected by maiming, humiliation, whipping, and other inhuman or barbaric form of inflicting pain. Third is social degradation. Putting the offender into shame or humiliation. Last one, 4. Banishment or exile. The sending or putting away of an offender which were carried out either by provision against coming into a specified territory such as an island to where the offender has been removed. There also have 4 classification of prisoners. The first one is insular or national prisoner, second one is provincial prisoner, and the third one is city prisoner, and the last one is municipal prisoner. The fifth pillar is the community. The community is an activity that is intended to promote goodness or improvement to human quality of life and community well-being. Further, community aims to restore victims and repair communities affected by crime. A broad literature exists surrounding the practices and policies in this area to be evidence-based, with special attention to those alternatives that achieve the best outcomes, such as reductions in recidivism or substance use.